Everyone, so this is going to be the fourth case. It's going to be a little different from the previous three cases because this one has some math involved. So let me just quickly read the prompt, then I will work through each answer until I have completed the case, just like what I've done in the previous three cases. Um, okay. So, for the past 30 years, the national government has set the retail price of gasoline for cars. Under a new market reform program, the government has decided to allow the gasoline distribution companies to determine the retail price of gasoline for cars. The Ministry of Transportation previously changed the price weekly to assure that the distribution companies make 10 cents per liter in gross profit. Gasoline is refined to three levels. We have Supra, High, and Regular, that refers to the level of octane and the degree to which the fuel is unleaded. All firms sell in proportion of 40%, 30%, and 30% at the prices of 1.75, 1.60, and 1.50 euros per liter, respectively, with the same gross profit of 10 cents. In a deregulated environment, firms have the capacity to change prices hourly at any service station based on their own pricing strategy. The CEO of Iberia Gasoline has hired us to advise her on an appropriate strategy for pricing in the country. How would you structure your approach? Okay, great. So, just to quickly recap, our client is Iberia Gasoline Company, and they just had a reformation in the gasoline industry. For the past 30 years, the government set the price for gasoline, but now any gas station can set their own price. And our task is to help our client, Iberia Gasoline Company, to create their own pricing strategy. Is that correct? So some few clarifying questions, clar- clarifying questions. So number one, I just want to understand if there is a specific goal or a specific metric that our client wants to achieve in this case. How much revenue do we want to achieve? How much profit we want to achieve per year in this new market? And the second thing that I want to understand is how many competitors are there in Iberia and what's their respective market share. And I think the last question I want to ask is do we have any information about the growth for this gasoline distribution company in Iberia? And are we just selling, or do we only have operations within the country, or are we selling also outside Iberia? So those are my three initial questions. So the currently gasoline sales have been growing 5% per annum as more people live in suburbs and commute by car to work. And currently, there are three companies that have 95% market share. Iberia Gasoline has 45 market share, while the remaining two firms have 25%. Iberia's market share is consistent throughout the country, with no one firm dominating one region or city. Each firm solely distributes gasoline. No firm is involved in oil exploration, extraction, or refining. Consequently, all firms pay essentially the same amount for refined gasoline, which they then brand, distribute, and sell. Currently, the Ministry of Transportation will not allow gasoline retailers to vertically integrate into other areas of gasoline distribution. Okay, great. So we currently experiencing 5% in growth for refined gasoline, and then also it looks like we are the market leader in the country as we have the 45% market share. So Do you mind if I just take a few moments to structure my thoughts? Okay, great. So, to help our client create their own pricing strategy, I would like to examine three key areas. So, first, the revenue, and then the second one is our client's capabilities in making these new changes, and the last one is our strategy. So, for the revenue, I just want to understand if we have any data, how our consumers react to price changes. So I'm just wondering if we have any data, how much the volume will change if we increase the price by this much or decrease this price by this much. So that will help us understand how we can set our own prices in this new system. So the second thing that I want to understand is how many gas stations do we currently have within Iberia, because as you've mentioned, there is 5% increase in sales growth for gasoline. So I'm just wondering if adding gasoline stations throughout the country would help meet that demand. And last, I think for the two competitors that we currently have that owns 25% market share each, I'm just wondering if there is an opportunity for us to acquire them so that we, from 45% market share, we can have 95% market share throughout the country. So that's for the revenue optimization. For the cost, um, for the company's capabilities in implementing this new system, I'm proposing two new strategies. So number one is implementing dynamic pricing. So since the government allowed gas stations to change the prices per hour, I want to look at the cost of implementing predictive analytics within our operations. And then the second one, how much it would cost for us to establish new gas stations to essentially meet the 5% demand of sales growth. So that's for the second bucket. And for the last one, I think for the strategy, how we are going to differentiate ourselves from the competitors, since our product or our gas is essentially the same as theirs. I'm just wondering if there are any opportunities for us to differentiate ourselves from them, such as number one, maybe we can add new revenue streams such as car wash services or grocery stores back in the Philippines and in Dubai. I've seen gas stations that has convenience stores and car wash services as an additional revenue stream for the company. So yeah, these are the three buckets that I wanna look at. If we have any information on the volume and the price sensitivity of our customers, I think that would be a great way to start the analysis. So do we have any data on that? Yeah, so in addition to gasoline sales, the firms also engage in retail activities by co-locating mini markets in the gas stations that sell items such as soda, cigarettes, snack food, etc. Industry research shows that this area has been the fastest area of growth, are at around 10% for the firms and nets 25% in profit. However, Iberia, your client, has been growing at 15% and nets 30% due in part to its superior selection and perception that it is a price leader. Using all the information, provide your analysis. With this new information, I would just like to confirm how much profitable our gas station is compared to the retail stores. It looks like we're generating a lot of profit in the retail stores at 30% compared to the industry average, which is just at around 25%. So I think, like right now, what I want to do is to calculate how much is the gross margin for gasoline sales. So right now we're selling at 1.75 per liter. 1.50 per liter to 1.75 with gross margin of a gross profit of 10 cents per liter. So what I'm gonna do now is just to divide 10 cents over 175 to see how much the gross margin is. And then also for the lowest price, which is 150, so 10.10, I mean 10 cents over 150 to get the range of our gross margin, and compare that with our gross margin in retail stores. So do you think that's the best approach or the right direction which I should go? So okay, so we have 10 cents and then we have 175. So 1 times 10, so I'm just gonna divide 10 over 175, and that it looks 7 plus 7. I'm just trying to calculate how many 175s are there in 1000. So 7 plus 7, 14, 15. So 350, 350. So that would be 3 plus 3, 6, 7. So 2. So it looks like it's around 5% gross margin for 1.75 price. And then I'm just gonna try and get the gross margin for 1.50. So that is how many 150 are there in 1000? So that would be 369. So it's 5. So it looks like the gross margin for gasoline is 5 to 6%. So if we have any data how much the operations cost so that we can get the net profit, I think that would give us a better picture of which one is more profitable, the gasoline stations or the retail stores, because I want to compare how we are going to maximize the revenue for each station throughout Iberia country. So do we have any data on that? Please let me know. Yeah, so I have some few information. So currently we have here the price versus the volume for the gasoline, and then we also have the total cost to operate the gas stations. And then we also have the sales data for retail franchises and how much the gross revenue and also the net profit. So what I want you to do right now is to fill out the highlighted rows and figure out the profit maximizing price. Okay, I think that's clear. I'm just going to take a few, 20 seconds or so to familiarize myself with this chart. So we have the price for today. I'm assuming that these are the prices per hour. And then the volume, how much we're getting per the price we've set. And then the total cost of selling those gas. And my task is to calculate the net profit. Then also for the franchise, or like mini stores sales, there are 14 cars, 4 cars, and how much we sell per trip, I guess. And then what is the net profit. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is just to calculate the net profit per column and then compare which one has the highest revenue, and then I think after that we can make a conclusion which is what is the maximum price we can set, or what is the ideal price we can set, so that we can maximize our profitability. So for the first column, this is 150 multiplied by 104. So 104. And then we have 155 multiplied by 102. And then 160 over multiplied by 100. 165 multiplied by 98. 170 multiplied by 95. And 175 multiplied by 75. So I'm just gonna calculate the revenue. So 5 times 4, 5 times 15, 20, 5 times 0, 0, and 2, 5 times 1, 5, 1 times 4, 4, 0, 1, 1, so 6. So I'm just trying to calculate the revenue. And then for the second column, we have 2 times 5, that's 10. 2 times 5, 10, plus 1, 11. 2 times 1, 2, 3. 1 times 5, 5, 5. And so for the second column, it looks like we have 15,810. So for the first column, we have 15,600. The second column, 15,800. 15,810. Then for the third column, it's easy. That's gonna be 16,000. And then for the fourth column, so 8 times 5, 40. 8 times 6, that's gonna be 42, 4, 6, 8. 48. 48 plus 4, 52. So 8 times 1, 8 plus 5, that's gonna be 13. 9 times 5, 45. 9 times 6 is 54 plus 4, that's gonna be 58. 9 times 1, 9 plus 5, that's gonna be 14. So we have 8 plus 3, that's 11, 4, 5, 6. So for the fourth column, it has 16,170 revenue. And then for the fifth column, that's 170 multiplied by 95. So 5 times 7, that's 35. 5 times 1, 5. Plus 3 equals 8. 5 times 1, 5. 9 times 7, that's 4, 5, 6, 63. 9 times 1, 9. Plus 6, that's gonna be 15. So 8 plus 3, 11. So 1, 6. So the fifth column is 16,150. Then 175 multiplied by 75. 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 5 times 5 times 7, 35. 67. 5 times 1, 5 plus then 8. 7 times 5, 35. 7 times 7, 43, 6, 9. 49, 9. 12. 7 times 1, 7, 8. So 7 times 1. Okay, I'm just gonna repeat again the last column. So 175 times 75. 5 times 5. 5 times 7, 35. 36, 37. 5 times 1, 5, 8. Times 5, 35. 7 times 7, 43, 6, 9, 49, 50, 51, 52. 7 times 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 5, 12, 11. So 13, 1, 2, 5. So 13, 1, 2, 5, 16, 150, and then 16, 170, 16, then 80, and then 15, 600. Then we're gonna so from this revenue, I'm just gonna reduce or deduct the cost. So 15,600 minus 15,600, that's 0. 15,810 minus 15,300, that's going to be 510. And then 16,000 minus 15,000, that's 1,000. And then 16,170 minus 14,700. 14,700, that's 7 4, so that's 1,470. And then 14,250, 14,250, 5, that's 2. 11 minus 2, that's gonna be 9. And 5 minus, so 1,900. And then 13,125 minus 11,250, that's gonna be 5, 7, so that's gonna be 8, 1,875. So from here, it looks like the gas setting at 150 is operating at 0, and then 510, 1,000, 1,470, 1,900, and then 1,875. Okay, so now that we have the profit for the gas, I think the next step is to calculate the profit for the retail franchise. So here we have 14,000 sales. I'm just gonna multiply number of cars times the retail sales, and then so that's 12,000, and then 10,000, and then 8,000, 6,000, and then 4,000. And I'm just gonna multiply 30% to each of this number to get the net profit. So 3 times 4, 4, 8, 12. So 3 times 1, 3, 4. So it looks like the profit for the first column is 4,200. Then for the second column, it's 3 times 2, 6, 3 times 1, 3. So it looks like it's 3,600. Then we have 3,000. And then 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 18, 21, 24. So 2,400 for the fourth column. And then for the second to the last column, we have 3 times 6, so that's 18, so 1,800. And 18. Then the last column, that's 3 times 4, 4, 8, 12, so 1,200. So I have this very so these are the profits for the gasoline, and this is the profit for the retail stores. I'm just gonna add this up to see which one is the most profitable, because it looks like even though we're operating at loss in the first column for gas, there's a lot of traffic for the mini stores, because I feel like the customers here has more money left after buying gas, so they have money to spend in the grocery stores. And when you're in a grocery store, even if you just want to buy a bottle of water, when you see like a chip or maybe a cigarette or other stuff, then you start buying some nonsense. So anyway, so I'm just gonna add this up. So 4,200 for the first column, and then 3,600 plus 510, that adds up to 4,1. So 3,600 plus 510, that's 4,110. Then the next column is 4,000. Then the fourth column it's 3,870, and then the second to the last column that is 18, 17, 3,700, and for the last column we have 5, 7, 1, 2, 3,075. So I'm just gonna clean this up. We have total profit of 4,200 for the first column, 4,110 for the second, then 4,000 for the third, 3,870 for the fourth, and 3,700 last, second to the last, and 3,075. So it looks like as we charge more for the gas, the profit decreases, because as we can see here, from 4,200 it became 3,075 after when we set the price at 175. So I guess from what I can see in this initial calculation is that it is best to set our price to 150. That's gonna be a little bit lower. I was hoping that when the government allowed the gasoline stations to change their prices, they our strategy should increase the price. But it looks like once we increase the price, also the volume decreased, and then also the number of cars that visits or goes to our stations also decrease. So it looks like setting the price at 150 is the ideal price for our client. Okay, so now that we have reached the end of the case, what is your final conclusion? Okay, so do you mind if I just take a few moments to finalize my answer? Okay, great. So we've really delved into our client's dilemma or problem, how to create their own pricing strategy. And the recommendation that we came up with is to set their price as at $150 per liter. And there are several reasons for this. Number one, setting the price at 1.50 gives us more traffic to our gas stations. There's more demand. And we're generating profit at around 4,200 compared to just to setting our price at 1.75, where we're only getting 4 cars per hour, and also a total profit of 3,075. So that's 1,000 less than what we're gonna have if we set the price at 1.50. Moving forward with this, I think it is very important to get more data, because this is just the data that we've gathered for one day, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be different if it's gonna be during the weekend or also during the holidays or different days throughout the work week. So yeah, I think we need to conduct more study, and also I just want to understand if we can explore additional revenue streams such as car washing, and also adding additional gasoline stations throughout Iberia to meet the 5% demand in sales growth.